Welcome to the Religiously Offensive Podcast.
But yeah, so
we're recording all of a sudden.
All right, I'll have to tell this story at lunch then.
I like to do that. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So this is one of the few podcasts you'll see me without a hat on because I just feel bad putting a hat on after someone cuts my hair.
Oh, you already went?
Yeah.
I just want to show off that fresh fade, bro. You got to show off the fresh fade.
I said that like I didn't realize you had left the office. I didn't say that like I can't tell a difference because you always do wear a hat anyways. So
I just had the reaction that Christina gets when I don't talk about her haircut for the first 3 hours she comes home when she gets a haircut. She's just like,
so you notice anything?
Yeah, just like yeah. So I got my hair cut.
Anything different about me you want to talk about?
She basically yeah.
The only way that I really know with Erica is it's just like her roots are just not dark anymore, and so I'm like,
yeah, right. If it's a color change, that's more easy to know. Like if you get like 2 inches cut off and they style it, it's just like I'm not gonna know,
yeah.
Right?
You know,
dude, I've gotten like 4 inches off my hair and dyed it, and you guys have never said anything. You guys just don't notice stuff. It just boils down to that.
Not higher on our priority list.
It can be a major difference. You guys just don't know.
So you're basically just giving me the treatment back. That's fair. I get that.
Yeah.
But I will say, what's funny is I got there and I was like, I didn't go to my normal. I don't have a normal place, I guess. First off, because I've been to Floyd's, I've been to Sport Clips, I've been to Lady Jane's, I've been to Man Cave. Like I go to all the because there's always like some awkward thing where one time the guy that I normally have isn't there, and so I'll just go with someone else. And the next time I go, they're both there, so that's weird.
Isn't Floyd's like significantly more expensive too?
They're comparable to Man Cave and Sport Clips. Sport Clips actually isn't cheap. You can get a $30 haircut pretty much at any of those places. Lady Jane's is only $25.
I just remember when I was getting haircuts
today because I went to Lady Jane's today because I went to Floyd's. They didn't have any walk-ins. So
you cut your own hair now?
Yeah, I started doing it myself. But when I was going, I mean, dude, I'd be pissed if I spent $15 on a haircut.
I know. The world's different.
Yeah, I only get my haircut like twice a year.
Inflation, Justin, and expensive retail space makes all that stuff go up.
Well, yeah, Floyd's is out here taking like A-type.
Oh, dude,
that's crazy.
Thay're paying 40 plus
next to
easy
BurgerFi up there.
Easy.
It's like, bro, it's cutting men's hair. How are you paying your rent?
That's
selling
true.
Drugs in the back.
They're not cutting, they're barbering.
That is true. I mean, that's the one thing I probably do miss is going to a good barber.
Well, it's kind of funny.
Like, he'll get your beard and everything trimmed up.
I didn't do the beard today, but that would have been more. But like, I've been kind of trimming it. I've been kind of keeping it up. So it's like, if you're like on top of it, at least I'm not like on top of it, but like if you're a little bit, like it feels like I'm not going to pay an extra whatever just to have them do what I could do at home.
Yeah, now that I'm not in the dating scene, I just don't care as much. But
wow, look at you.
Years ago,
but I mean, when you cut your own hair,
thing up every day.
It looks good. I mean, it doesn't, Yeah,
it's good enough for me. It's more to me. It's like a pass-fail thing.
I don't think you don't have like a complicated head or like hair style or like type of hair either. Like I've curly hair and all that crap is so weird that it's just
that
like
would be different. It
looks bad pretty much 99% of the time, and so you're just like, all right, well, I don't want to mess it up more.
I had a buddy in high school. His name was Philip Bunting.
Bunting,
Bunting.
Did he play baseball?
And
I was too slow.
He did. He was a good athlete. We played soccer together for a long time, and he was a swimmer. And he had the curliest hair. And I remember because swim practice was always before school. So they would get to the aquarium or the whatever they call that thing where it's like the big indoor pool.
It's called the big indoor pool.
Yeah,
aquarium is where you look at fish.
Right. So the aquarium,
unless you could watch them swim from underneath. could you like? Did they have a glass you could watch people swimming from underneath? Because then it would be aquarium.
It wasn't that dope.
I love that you said aquarium.
Yeah, and Aqua Center. I don't know.
I've never heard it.
He would be in that like chlorine water all morning. And then take a shower, and his hair just looked so jacked up every day because it was just like, because he also would just let it go. So he would get this thing where it was just like, it'd be like poofy here and then poofy here. And some reason it would just like stay matted here. Yeah.
Oh man, look,
I just
Krusty,
always like, and he was
Krusty the clown.
He was the nicest guy, but I just like always thought it just looked so funny.
Dude,
But,
I
Teach their
had
own.
like, yeah, my hair would get jacked the same way. And then chlorine, my hair's already dry. Like that stuff dries your hair out and then it makes it turn green if you were blonde.
And
It's
this
just
was like before we had salt pools, which I know is still technically chlorine, but like those like old school chlorine pools where it's just like your eyes burn after like
every high school still has that. I mean, high schools aren't running salt systems.
yeah.
My high school didn't have a pool.
Yeah. We were actually probably fortunate to have one because I don't think a lot of the schools around had them. But I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe the bougie high schools in like Texas and stuff, some of them in Florida, maybe they have salt pools. I don't know.
Ones.
But yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? So I was getting a haircut. And what's funny is like, you know how people are like, you know, oh, hey, do you want to watch something or do you want to change this? Like she never said anything. It was Jersey Shore Family Vacation.
Why would you want to change that?
Yeah. Why would I want to change that? So
Yeah,
I was
you gotta get
watching
OG Jersey Shore if you're gonna go there.
Well, they had a couple of the OG. I feel like a lot of them were OG. They had,
Well, like seasons 1 or 2 of the original.
and I never really watched the original a lot, but I know they had like Snooki on there. They had Ronnie. They had Vinny.
Oh, bro, you got to go back to the beginning because
What was
like
it,
the best part about that was Ronnie and Sammy.
Sammy.
Oh, they
Was
were
that-
just
Because Sammy's not
so
on.
back and forth.
Because they had like a really toxic relationship, and then she never did any of
This
the
was
family
just crazy.
vacation ones.
It was funny because it's like literally almost the whole episode. They were just sitting in the living room. The girls came back drunk from renting a plane to go to DC to try to get their buddy out of rehab or something. And like they ended up making him having to stay longer for something they did. But they ended up drunk coming back,
For
and then the
something
boys.
they did, he had to stay at rehab longer.
Yeah, I don't know. And then
We're coming to get our boy to rehab, and we're going to be blackout the whole time.
You know, I think it was
doing drugs.
I think it was rehab, but I don't even know what it was. It sounded like I don't know. So he was being detained somewhere for something. So basically, they came back and like they just started going after Vinny, who's the skinnier guy.
Yeah.
He's a Chippendales guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if he still is, but
they were
He's
all
the best
like,
one out of all of
I
them.
love him.
yeah, he seems really level headed.
Guadagnino or
And so
something.
he was
crazy.
just like, they were attacking him like, you never have fun with us. And he was like, he just took it for a while and then he started going after them. He's like, you guys are alcoholics or whatever. And they got so offended. They're like, all right, I want to go to bed. This is like the drama.
Yeah,
But
Vinny's ruthless.
was so funny. It's just like,
He's funny.
Yeah.
it's funny because I'm just like, how easy would it be to record stuff that we do? I mean, because they're just like doing. It's not like anything crazy's happening.
Yeah, but they're
You just need
they're
a
more
following of
entertaining than
people
us.
who are.
Was it just because they're outrageous?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, like the family vacation stuff is so like vanilla and like bland, but like because of how outrageous the first like 3 or 4 seasons
It
were.
just caught on. Yeah.
Yeah, you just feel like you develop a relationship with
I'm
these
just saying.
people, and
I
then
feel
now
like you
just
can make
wanna
a
see where
show.
they're at.
But if we did go on a vacation together, then we could record
bro.
everything we did.
I think that'd
We
be,
get some
I think it'd be a little
content.
crazy.
Yeah,
For show.
that would be wild.
Some of our Vegas stuff is pretty good, but as
Well,
if we already have our own show.
just
I'm just
wear-
saying.
We just don't
some
have
of our
like
Vegas
on our
stuff.
chest.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
we just
it.
don't have like the drama factor where like they were getting in fights every night and stuff was just popping off nonstop.
I feel like with Kyle, we get some of that now.
Yeah,
He kind of creates it.
yeah.
So it's like, no, I mean,
He likes to chirp. He does.
it's just, I mean, he just like, yeah, he'll just like,
Yep.
he'll just say, I mean, I thought I said stuff that's on my mind. He really goes for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes he pisses me off more than other times.
yeah,
Like when we were pickling,
I love
I was
Kyle.
ready to beat the crap out of him with that paddle.
but you guys are besties now. So
I wouldn't go that far, but we're getting along more.
there you go.
It's one of those relationships. Like I also like it was a conditioning thing for me. Like the way like my dad raised us, like in our family. Like if we were, I have so many memories of just like driving in the car, and he'd just be quiet. He was always stoic, quiet guy, and we'd just be sitting in the back. And if the conversation ever moved to a place where we started talking about someone else and they weren't there and it wasn't positive, I mean, he would literally like shut it down. Like he would just be silent, and then he would just like turn down the music and just be like, stop. Like we don't talk about people when they're out here. And so like I just came from this paradigm, like I never like really chirped people because it wasn't a part of it. So
Nate's calling me. I feel like it's about 4th of July.
Do it.
Well, I mean, he's just
We can cut this
fireworks
out.
and stuff.
Oh,
I don't like cutting stuff, so why don't you talk real quick?
okay.
We can keep chatting.
Bye.
All right. So what's new? We haven't been here in a while. I'm trying to think of all the things that have happened since then.
I got engaged.
She is engaged. I was there. That was sick.
Yeah, he got a sick video.
In Vegas.
#1 hype man for show.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it turned out as good as it did.
Same. I thought for sure I'd pass out on that mountain.
It was one of the most epic, just visually stunning places
yeah.
I've ever been in my
Yeah, it
life.
was sick. We went to, what was it called? Valley of Fire.
Valley of Fire.
Is it technically is it still in not Arizona, Nevada?
I think so.
It's
But
like,
I'm sure
it's like
not.
north of Vegas.
Yeah, it's like an hour drive from Vegas. Yeah.
Really sick though. If anybody ever wants to go,
So dope.
just don't go when we went because it was hot as
Hot
balls.
yeah.
So hot.
I think the coolest part, well, I think because you guys kind of posted up for a bit and then we climbed
because
that
I would have
one-
died. If I went with you guys, I would have died.
But that was so, it was, yeah, I wish you could have been there.
Helicopter to the Valley of Fire picking me up.
Life flight, get you like
Yeah.
strapped up in one of those mummy things and you're just like flying through the air.
Bro, they had signs everywhere that was like, if it's over this, if it's this hot, be careful.
I got the picture.
It's so hot.
You know, remember the one picture with the sign that was just like,
Something about dying.
it's like you might, like on the bottom, there was
Yeah.
like this fine print. It was like, you might die.
Yeah.
And it was just something about like, be careful.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I like how they just throw it
Dude,
out
I
there.
feel like I was going to die just sitting down there in the heat, waiting for you guys to get off of the mountain.
Well, so the reason that we were up there for so long was Nate, we're kind of talking, we're hanging out, we're chilling, and I look over and Nate is just laying on the top of this mountain, just so like,
Probably
so
not
at
okay.
peace. No, he looked just so like at peace. And so then I was just like, yup. So I took off my shirt and I just like laid down
It
next
wasn't
to him.
hot on your back?
I mean, it was hot at first.
Are you talking about when we were on that
Mountain.
just chilling on
Yeah,
that rock?
we grounded on top of a mountain for like, had to been like 20 plus minutes. It was like,
Yeah, I was there too, and Kyle was. We were the four of us or something.
It was so calming.
Yeah, because we were telling
Epic.
the pod that I got engaged because we haven't done a pod since then.
Oh yeah,
Talking about all the
Congrats.
What's happened since then?
pod. Congrats.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember Luke Doyle from the pod, but he had a baby. Not him
Wow.
physically, but
the
his
Dole
wife
did have a baby. Yeah,
So congratulations, Doyles.
Congratulations.
little nugget,
Lots happened.
Little,
a lot has
little
happened.
Dole.
baby
Yeah.
Dole. Yeah.
Little Dole whip.
Dole whip.
What do they call it? A dollop of Doyle.
I love that.
Because then a dollop of Daisy. That was their
Yeah.
whole thing.
Dollop of Daisy.
funny.
Anyway,
Yeah. My other thing I was gonna say is that I saw a commercial for Ninja Turtles, and I was just thinking, yeah, I could probably be a Ninja Turtle because I love pizza, but
Like a new Ninja Turtle movie coming out.
no, it was an animated.
where
It was an animated. It was an animated one.
Today?
I could
You
be
could be a turtle.
I could be an animated one. Think of if you're an
I'd be a good
animated turtle.
turtle.
If you're an animated turtle, though, you pretty much get unlimited pizza
I feel
because
like
it's
that's a thought you
animated.
have when you're on drugs.
Bro, we get these monster
just getting
turtles
my
in my
haircut.
neighborhood.
That's a normal day.
Just a normal day.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the giant snails
Oh, the poisonous
Florida?
ones. that
Yeah.
you can't touch.
that can
Yeah.
like eat through your wall and shit?
Bro, it's wild
What?
in here.
You ever heard about them things?
if
They
I
eat
woke
through
up
like the
and-
wall of a house.
If I woke up
Like-
and saw,
like drywall.
imagine if you saw just a hole in your house and then a snail slowly moving toward your bed.
When I think about like
I
a
would
snail,
think something
I
bad's
think
happening.
about like a baby like kraken. Like, you know, in the movies where it's just like the kraken comes out and it's just got this like giant vortex mouth of like rows of teeth. And it's
so you
just
think-
like,
but has anyone seen the inside of a snail's mouth or the picture
no.
of the three of us to understand
So
if that's actually true? But you think
no,
that's,
that's what I say in my mind.
you're
That's
thinking
how
that's
I
what's
see, like,
actually underneath their
just a
mouth?
tiny version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where if you were a tiny person, it
If
would
I was-
be
yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. If I was like significantly smaller than a scale, it would
Yeah.
or snail, it would look like a freaking alien monster.
I
Like
don't
a
have any
Demogorgon.
photos of the inside of a snail's mouth,
Mm,
but snails are ugly.
that's all. So you can actually keep that that nasty
Ugh.
nightmare alive then, because
To me, it's real.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Have you seen a microscopic? I think we talked about this before. An ant.
Oh yeah, that they look like demons.
It's so gross. Can you imagine a big one of those?
We did the whole thought experiment about would you rather fight 1,000 ant-sized bulls or one bull-sized ant? No chance I'm touching a bull-sized ant.
No way, dude. They can carry however many times their own weight, dude. They can screw you up, man.
Bro, honestly, our government should just create them and use them as soldiers. You'd never lose. I thought you were going to say our government should right now stop any experimentation on making ants bigger. We just got to control them.
Bro, you can't control them.
Okay.
How can you control them, dude?
Elon Musk, Neuralink. So you make them giant, you put in the Neuralink, and then and then you get a bunch of the best e-gamers on the planet and you just send them out, and it's like basically playing COD.
I don't like where this is headed.
I know. What happens when the Neuralink breaks or something?
I don't know.
A virus.
But that's a great premise for a movie.
Oh, geez. We'd have to send up. Elon would then have to rocket chip up tons of huge ass boots into orbit that are just ready to come down and smash those things when they get out of control.
You want to squish them?
Yeah, with a giant boot.
So what I would argue is what was that? King's. What's the one? The Circle, the King's Circle, the one movie with the British guy where he joins the British Royal Secret Service. Kingsman. Yeah. It's like, so you give them the Neuralink, but then you also with the Neuralink implant like a bomb, and then if they go rogue, then you just get them from the inside.
Unless the ants.
Boom. I just solved all the problems.
What if the ants evolve and get smarter and figure out how to remove those from each other's brains? You imagine
we're completely
ant in a doctor uniform, and he's performing surgery on another ant because these ants because they've excelled so far into their intelligence that they're now walking on 2 legs and some stuff.
They have the hive mind,
whatever,
and they just love the queen. So they'd be British probably.
I don't,
because it's God save the queen. It's all about the queen.
Generalization. I think the queen's more of a cultural head than she is actually really going to war and stuff. You know.
Well, you talking about ants? Or you talking about
Queen of England
monarchs? Yeah. Well, for sure,
King of England now, right?
Well, isn't that fascinating though? With did you ever see that beekeeper on Joe Rogan who was 50 years old, but she looks 20? And because she's been bitten so much, or stung so many times by bees, because it's technically I think they consider it a bee venom. It's just not enough to
Do they have bee venom skin cream?
But it's it's supposed to basically reverse age, something about it. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you. It's like an elixir.
Stronger.
Yeah.
That'll be the next thing. Justin, that'll be your next thing on your Amazon list. Instead of a cold plunge, it'll be a sting, a sting tank.
Bees. But so bees and ants.
You're just sitting there for 5 minutes and then you get out and then 3 weeks later, you look like you're 13.
Yeah. You blow up first and you almost die, but then you barely survive. And then after a month of healing and recovering, then you
younger and stronger.
Yeah. It's like going Super Saiyan.
Like a Saiyan. Yeah.
Yeah. But isn't that fascinating in the animal world where it's ants and bees? It's cause she was saying when you need to move a hive, you basically just have to identify the bee and then you just put the bee in the new hive and then the whole colony just follows her because they just love the queen. Something
is she
about
the same? Is it the same lady that does all the videos online where she's just wearing nothing and just interacting with all these bees and stuff? Have you seen that girl?
Mm-mm. She's a little hottie though. She's a blonde.
I don't remember what she looks like online, but dude, she's just handling the bees it's just another thing. The bees are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and she'll just literally go in and literally scooch over and just how do the bees not see hey, you don't look like us?
Yeah. No, that's her thing.
It's anything.
She does it with no gloves or anything.
Yeah, maybe it's just if you do anything with confidence, you could succeed. Maybe that's it. You just swim with sharks and you're just you know what? I'm one of you now. I wonder if that would work.
I feel more comfortable with bees than sharks, but I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. I do want to swim with sharks though. That's next time. Oh,
have you seen those videos of bears?
I have such good news.
People
for you.
charge bears Like you seen that where they don't run away, but instead they'll just like charge a bear and the bear will turn around.
Well, so it's the same with sharks. Like when you're in the ocean, like if you ever encounter a shark, like the experts will say,
swim towards it.
The worst thing you can do is like splash and move away, because then in its mind, it's like you're prey now. So you like actually sink into the water and face it. And then as it comes at you,
can you imagine?
You basically just like you right on the nose, like firmly, and you either like push, because if you push them up, they go into this weird kind of like paralysis almost, or you have to push them away. But
yeah, so how do you avoid their big ass mouth? It's like this, right? Like, so if it's like this coming toward you, what do you do with your hand?
Well, so the videos that I've seen, they're once they would stop and like turn, pivot, and go kind of towards the shark never came at them like with an open mouth. It just
it's
like
interesting though.
Them,
imagine,
and they would just push it away.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, you're horrible at that.
I know, and I've been holding it in for 2 months, so I just feel like I'm really going to interrupt.
I do it too.
So I just like, you think about it, like sharks always swim after, they always chase stuff. Like they're not used to stuff turning around, and that would be confusing, huh?
Yeah, they'd be like, oh shit.
For a shark,
what's this?
Because for the most part, like you'd have to be out there with like a 15-foot great white for it to like still see like a full grown human and being like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat it anyways. Because they're eating fish.
It doesn't work on great whites?
No, it probably would. I don't know. I mean,
I'm so nervous.
Just never put yourself in that situation.
Well, people don't.
But I want to go snorkeling and scuba and all that. So I feel like, imagine the cojones you have to have.
But I've never seen anyone free dive with great whites. If you're doing the great white thing, it's usually you're in a cage.
Someone's doing it. You seen the guy that basically like just like hugs and gets all up close to the lions, the Dean Schneider guy?
Oh, yeah.
I love that guy. But
a great white to me is so much different.
Yeah.
Like
when you're a lion,
when you're in water though,
a lion can just be like, oh yeah, your head.
Yeah, but like a lion, I feel like I could like dodge,
pop your head like a
they grow that relationship from when they were like babies.
They're not around wild lions.
Like, and they're feeding
in like a
them
sanctuary.
and stuff. So it's like,
yeah.
How do you?
I mean, if Tiger King can do it.
So if you were in the zoo,
that dude is retarded.
Or the SeaWorld, or they don't have sharks at SeaWorld, do they? Maybe. I don't know.
You think like somebody feeding a shark?
Yeah, if you were feeding the sharks and then like, you think the shark would have a connection? I don't know. Sharks' eyes are like lifeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you've never really seen videos of people chilling with sharks.
I just think sharks are so like prehistoric and just like the epitome of, they probably have this tiny little pea brain in this giant, like a T-Rex, like in a giant body.
All I imagine.
And they just evolved to just kill.
All I imagine, because I saw this on a show or a movie once or something, I forget what it was, but I imagine a shark listening to this podcast right now and then just having your number next time you go to New Smyrna. It's like, that's the freaking guy. That's the guy. That's the guy that's that small brain.
My only rule when I'm going in the ocean at this point in my life is like, I just don't want to be the farthest out. And usually you got a couple other ballsy beach goers that'll kind of get out there.
It's like when you go on a hiking trip, you don't want to be the slowest guy.
Well,
you got to have a guy that's at least slower than you.
Especially because my whole thing with the ocean is like, if I encounter like a predator in here, like it's different if I'm on land and I can like, you know, try to like whoop, whoop, and like hit them. But like if I'm in water, I'm a sitting duck. Like I can't.
The crazy thing
I can't move in there. I can't punch something in there.
Yeah.
Unless I just like.
Yeah. It'd probably be like trying to punch in your dream, and you're in real life, you're laying on 100%. Your arms and you're like, I can't punch.
Yeah. If I do need to attack a shark because it's coming at me,
like it's like this with your hands flat.
It's just like Perry gills.
I was going to go eye. You don't go eye?
I'm going gills. Oh yeah.
That's how they breathe. Yeah.
Cause that's how if dolphins need to attack a shark or like protect each other, they just like ram it right in the gills.
And dang, a shark's brain weighs 1.2 ounces. An average human brain's 48 ounces.
Bro, I could eat that.
And their bodies are bigger than ours. Imagine that. They're basically like water T-Rexes.
I could eat 3 shark brains as an appetizer.
It says they've been around since before the dinosaurs.
So
like their bodies are like our noses.
But
because they would have survived underwater.
Certain species like evolve much slower. And so they're much less into their progression. You know what I mean? Sharks just may have a limited where they can go.
They can survive in any temperature because they're cold blooded. So it doesn't matter.
So they may just have a limited, like what they, you know what I mean? Like what they can like where they can go and they're intelligent. Like dolphins are crazy smart and they have huge brains.
Right.
Like sharks, maybe they just
well,
hit
that's
their
why
limit.
also, did you know killer whales are dolphins?
Well, I mean, they're all come from the same family, right?
Well, no, like whales are a different species, like, or maybe subspecies, but like killer whales, like orcas, are literally like in the dolphin family. We just call them killer whales because they're just huge.
Oh my god!
But it's basically a giant dolphin.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
And they're like, have you ever seen a killer whale? Just like, there's a video where it comes up and it just rocks. I don't know if it's a dolphin or what, but it literally just rocks this dolphin up out of the water like 10 feet.
Yeah.
And it's also up in the air. Like, it's like, they're crazy, dude.
I think it's like killer whales have basically like one evolution. Like they, as it comes to like all of the sea life, because it's like they have all the good things about dolphin size.
Yeah, they're
like,
the apex predator of the ocean.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
in a fight, I'd take
I believe you. I totally
orca over a great white shark.
Think about it. Like, they swim with dolphins. They do all this stuff. They used to do the same exact stuff with killer whales at SeaWorld, right? Like they acted just like dolphins. They're just massive.
They'll like dive down deep into the ocean and then they will like approach the prey, just like beeline straight up from beneath and just boom.
Has that ever happened to a
Sharks
human?
don't sleep. Do you guys know that?
Neither do dolphins. Yeah. They have like a like our computers have like sleep mode. They basically have this like lower
standby.
Yes. Yeah. Standby mode. And they just like drop into a standby mode and they just, but I guess
because every
sharks make sense though, because they can breathe underwater. So they don't need to go up for air. But the mammals, like a whale, like you have to come up and get air every so often. And then you also kind of sleep.
Yeah. You know how long they live? Their lifespan? Sharks? Any guesses?
50 years.
So on average,
go 35.
20 to 30 years on average. But some species like the Greenland sharks can live 272 years.
We're both right.
Tits.
Isn't that nuts?
That is wild.
It's like sea turtles.
That animal has seen some stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shark's thinking like, yeah. Dude, he was around before plastic.
Which is a totally random other subject. We don't even need to get into it. It's more back to like the ancient pyramids and stuff like that. We can save it for another time.
But he's sitting there like, yeah, I remember when I didn't have to deal with all these water bottles and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sad ones you ever see where it like somehow a turtle will get caught in like one of those little plastic rings.
Oh yeah.
And it'll just like squeeze the middle of his body.
Yeah.
And it's like this like upper shell.
The shell grows around it.
And then the bottom shell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
I also watched this fascinating video the other day where a baby orca, I'm just thinking that because of the killer whales, but a baby orca comes up to this random group of like people in a boat and it's like acting weird. It's like trying to talk to them. And it's not like doing normal whale stuff. And so he like gets their attention and then he starts swimming off and they follow him. And it's like, oh, there's also a dope movie or video about this with a deer. But basically the baby orca leads them like miles away to like his mother that was like caught in this like fishing net rope kind of situation. And they free her. And then the dolphins or the orcas like stay with them and like basically like thank them for a while. But it's like,
wow.
Like how smart they are.
How big is an orca brain?
Coming right up.
Thank you.
There's also a movie or a video online where
Jamie, look at
right. Where it's like this mother, I almost started crying when I watched it, but it's this female, it's a doe, this deer that just walks out in front of a truck in the middle of a road and just stays there. It won't move. And so the guy goes out and expects it to just run off, but it won't move. And he like starts like petting it and she's just chilling there.
She's in shock. The deer is still.
Well, no, it's like a healthy mother deer, but like the deer just walks out in the middle of the road, stands in front of this truck and it won't leave. And he's like petting her and she's just staying there.
Like deer in the headlights. Sometimes they get into this like,
no, dude, listen to this stuff.
I'll listen. Sorry.
He follows this deer miles and miles down the road and the mother deer leads him. Like they go miles down the road and he follows her in his truck. And then she stops and gets off and starts going in. So he gets out of his truck and follows her. Her baby is stuck in this little soccer net in the back of someone's house.
She was calling for help.
Yeah. Well, like the baby orca was trying to save its mom.
Wow.
But this mother deer was saving.
They have the IQ of equivalent to a 15 or 16-year-old human.
What does a deer?
No, an orca. Oh, you're talking about deer?
Oh no, but the orca does.
Yeah,
but
deers are much stupider, I feel like.
Well, the coolest part of the deer story is after he frees the baby, and because like once he starts like trying to cut the baby out of this soccer net that it was stuck in, the mom's just like running around because she's just probably nervous, like don't hurt my baby, but like I can't help my baby, so I need help. And then he frees the baby, and then like 5 minutes later, they kind of stay around the same area, and then the baby walks over and like kneels down in front of the person. Like it literally like was an emotional experience. Like the baby came back to just like say thank you.
Wow.
That's cool.
And then they run off and whatever.
Yeah,
but it's like,
orca's brain is five times larger than a human's.
But they're only as smart as a 15-year-old.
They just don't got that God consciousness, baby.
We need to get some orcas some life experience so they can really train that brain.
They have
put the Neuralink in the orca.
They
oh my gosh!
You really want to start
how smart they would get,
dude? They would find a way to take over the world without a doubt.
Yeah, Nate's calling me again. It's about the fireworks stuff.
Fireworks.
Hold that thought. Talk to amongst yourselves, and then when I get back, I want to hear about like what you were saying. You're gonna love this or something. Remember you were saying something?
Oh yeah, I got really good news for you.
All right, great.
Ow. All right. What's some other random things we can talk about?
I don't know. I'm not good at this.
We could dive into like a deeper topic.
Go for it.
All right. So I'm on this like meditation journey where I truly believe that I can, if I find stillness and I sit with myself, and usually after breath work, because it just takes you into the present moment. Because if you think about it, we only have in this life the present moment, because our past is just histories and thoughts, and our future is just potential realities, but also thoughts. So what we actually have is the present moment. So the breath work typically will lead me to being super present, and then I'll sit in this stillness, and something inside of me just like knows. It's the concept of like gnosis versus faith, where like most religion is like faith, where you just have to believe without seeing, right? Or believe without really knowing. But it's like when I sit down in this chair, like I know that I'm not going to fall on the ground unless the chair is busted, which could happen. But like, it's like a difference between like, I'm going to do this because I'm pretty sure it's going to work, or like, I hope it's going to work, versus like, no, I know it's going to work. And so like when I sit with myself, there's just certain things that I feel like it's like, you just have this like gnosis, and you also try to have this reality of like, all right, there is like the spiritual soul or version of me, and then there's like the ego current, physical version of me. That's the ego is mostly just about like self-preservation and survival and all that stuff. But when I sit there and I try to quiet the ego, because I don't think the ego is bad. I think the ego is just part of the journey, and you have to develop a relationship between the spiritual version of you and what the Bible would say is like the flesh versus like the spirit or whatever. It talks about kind of this duality. And so much of the Bible and religion is like faith, just hope that it works out. But then you read these other stories, or someone like a David and Goliath, and then you go back into the story of David, and like he spent all this time out in the fields with sheep, and he had to like fight off bears and lions to protect like his sheep. And something, in my opinion, something that he went through, or some journey or evolution that he experienced, like led him to this gnosis. Like when I read, because he also would write like scriptures, and there's one in I think Psalms that says like, be still and know that I am God. So it's like this weird concept of like, most people think of God from a faith perspective of like, I hope he's real, I believe he's real. But it's like, I feel like some people that have like done the work and sat in the stillness long enough that they know like God, not necessarily like his name or what he sounds like, but it's like this deep internal gnosis of like, I know that this is the way the universe works. Like, I just know it. And then, a lot of other people will come along and try to, give their version of it. But I feel like certain people have this inclination to just want to sit and find truth like within and not search for it in like a self-help book or a religious text, which is like, if you think about it, like Buddy's on an island and he's never encountered another Christian. He doesn't have the book. Like, it's like, but you're going to tell me that he can't find God? Like, BS, dude. No chance. And so it's like, I feel like it's a weird thing. Like, I'm searching for the gnosis, not so much trying to just live by faith. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, what I've realized in my life is like reading the self-help books, reading the religious texts, and like operating by faith. The problem for me, at least, was I was so constantly aware of like the gap between who I am versus who I want to be. And so because there's such a gap, because, I believe there's, unlimited potential for my life, but like where you are versus, where you wish you were, kind of a thing, because of that realization of that gap, then it's just like, there's so much like shame where you're just like mad at yourself. But what I found is when I sit with myself in stillness and I reject everything that I thought I knew and I just try to tap into truth, it's like this reality of, cause I'm super hard on myself. And the more I tried to go into the self-help stuff, I would just be more hard on myself, because I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I can be better, but I wouldn't. I would choose to go the wrong way on purpose. I would just make bad choices. And so that just like messed with me. But, and once I started really just going the stillness route and trusting like the voice within, it's like, I forget who said it, but I heard him explain it once. Like, I'm so hard on me, but like, imagine having a child, and that child is going through hard stuff, or he's exhibiting like destructive behaviors. It's like, how would you talk to that child? I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't be mean. I wouldn't judge. I would just love them. I would just sit with them, and more importantly, I'd say like, hey buddy, like nothing's wrong. It's just where we are right now. This is just a part of your journey, and we're going to get better, and it's okay. But we have to start with accepting just what is. And he basically said like, you have to start talking to yourself the way that you would talk to like a child that you love, because we so easily are just so hard on ourselves, and we just take on all the shame.
Well, it's just the same thing of like people saying that like I can give advice, but I can't take my own.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that I've just realized within myself is like, once I kind of crossed over that hump, it's like now, like there's actually these deep internal like motivators and desires to actually become that person, instead of like hating myself for not being that person. Yeah. And it's like, that's why I think there's so much power in the concept of like gnosis and going within. Yeah. Because it's like, once you've like, I posted about it the other day, but it's like, beliefs that you haven't fought for. I think this was said. I think any belief that you haven't fought for isn't really yours. Like, if you think about it, it belongs to someone else and it was passed down to you. And so if that's your reality, then you aren't really you. Yeah. You're someone else's,
like wanting to be someone else creation. Now, even like when you get there, you're going to think that you have more growth. Like, you're always going to have more growth. Like,
well, you find self-love. You stop hating yourself and you start operating from a place of like loving yourself and accepting and knowing that's like, there's nothing wrong. This is just the current chapter in the book of my life. And we're on a journey. Yeah. And so you stop because for me, it's like the shame cycle is, it's basically you feel shame. So you want to escape. So you find a problem. Let's call it alcohol, because that's probably common for a lot of people. So you're going through hard times and you have a couple drinks and you feel better and it gives you an escape, right? So then the escape is nice because it's better than the shame. But the problem is now the escape becomes the problem and you feel even worse for it. It's like this catch-22. It's like the solution is also the problem. And so it's like you spiral because now it just takes more alcohol to escape because the shame is even greater. My tolerance is growing. And it's like really getting to a point where, like, in my opinion, shame is, and I mean, we've talked about this before, but it's like they've studied the vibration of every, and the frequency of every emotion. And like shame is the lowest, like hertz from a scale of like 20 to like 600 or 700. And there is no emotion that vibrates lower than shame, like not hate or rage or fear or doubt. It's like shame is the lowest. So it's like almost like
it's probably the most self-destructive then.
Well, in my mind, it's like this is just the order of the universe. The nature of reality is like shame is the fastest way to destroy your life.
What has the highest vibration?
Peace, even higher than love.
Whew.
And I think because love on a certain level requires like other people to cooperate.
I don't even like love. I don't even like that.
Peace is just, you are always content no matter what.
Dude, content, dude. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I've told this to so many people. It's about like contentment. It's just like, I don't care if I don't have like whatever goals I originally set out when I was younger, or if I don't like this thing, I'm not in this place in life I thought I was going to be. If I can be content with what I have now and be grateful, just have that gratitude. It's like, that is so, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's that peace, like, right, you were saying.
I was about to say content probably is very similar.
Very similar,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Love. That's why I don't like love as it relates to like, I desire to like be in that space of love. It's because it's like everyone's definition of love is different. So
when you could even perceive, if someone is trying to do something out of love, you could perceive it as something different. Like it's not objective.
Yeah. And that's tough too. I mean, I'm so skeptical of people that like, sometimes I feel like people are doing something for me that they would want me to perceive as love, but I feel like, okay, well, why are you really doing this? You know, and then you start questioning and whatever.
Because you can't ever discern like fully the intention behind it. But with peace, it's just you. And you know 100% whether or not you can find peace through anything. I mean, it's like the word, like Paul writes about it. He's like, I've had a lot and I've had nothing. Like, but through it all, I've found that like I can be content.
Yeah. And I mean, and some of this, like, dude, obviously, like, I'm going on a journey, like you're going on a journey, like everyone's going on a journey, right? And
I think you got to fight for it. You shouldn't just accept it.
Well, it's one of those, I was going to address shame specifically because unfortunately, it's like pretty much every, like, cause I'm not like, I wouldn't say that I've done stuff that, like, to other people is like really bad, right? Like, I mean, you know, relatively speaking. So it's like, I'm not ashamed about anything that I've done to affect other people. So the only shame that I could feel is shame about myself. And the only shame, the self-shame that I have ever felt in my life has been triggered by Christianity, which sucks to say that, but it's just like, it is. And so I've really gotten to a point now, I'm still getting there, but it's just like, I like, don't care. Like and I'm not saying I'm going to go commit every crime and commit every sin or whatever, right? Like based on that. But what I'm saying is I'm really starting to experience freedom from what other people I feel like would want me to feel shame about.
Right.
You know? It's like, if I don't know, like say something simple, like your grocery store and you like don't donate or something. It's like, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna feel shame about it.
Here's the crazy part.
Little things, right? It's just like, you know what? I probably should have like helped that guy like on the side of the road or whatever. And sometimes I do. And you know, that kind of thing. Like I do, but then if I don't take every opportunity to do that, you could feel shame. Now I'm just like, it is what it is. Like I didn't do it. Probably could have. And I'm done thinking about it. Right. Yeah. Like well, just not letting the little, like the shame things like affect you. Like I'm really like, I've really progressed really far on that. Like to where it's like, I'm not like indifferent to life where I'm just like, oh, F everything. Right. Like, but at the same time, it's just like, you can't beat yourself up on past decisions. You can learn from them, but like, dude, you can't let that crap control you.
Well, here's like just my thought, like listening to you talk, and because I've felt that so many times. And I think why it's so destructive at times is because that moment that caused the shame maybe lasted 5, 10, 30 seconds, maybe. And the reality is the person on the other end of it, at least in a relational term, like the person on the other end of it, they're not even going to remember it tomorrow. They're not even going to remember it an hour later. But like when you're on the receiving end, you can hold on to those things for years. Yeah. So it's like one moment that a relational experience where you feel the shame or whatever. It's like those people like aren't even thinking about that anymore. And you're still living in it on our end. And it's like, I just think that's why it's just so like when I think about light and dark, and it's like that's just the energy of the darkness where it just, you basically just put yourself in a prison and the other person's fine.
And even if you do,
a hard problem doing that. I do that all the time.
Because I feel like even if you do affect another person and it's obvious to where they're still holding on to something and you feel shame about something, then it's like the only way to do it is just to reconcile and correct it and move on. Yeah. But like a lot of times you're saying where it's like literally a frivolous type thing and you're just holding on to that. It's hard, but like, dude, it's like, I've just been like, just let it go. Like, dude, it's like, it's not the same thing, but like literally when we were playing pickleball the other day, I was just like, I cared in the beginning. And I think, I don't know, like I was fighting too much about what the score was and stuff. And I was just like, well, you're the reason we lost that game. Yeah. I don't know. You gave up on me. But through giving up, I experienced a freedom. Shame. But through giving up, and I told one of you guys this, I was just like, part of the reason I did that was like, all right, like I'm getting so annoyed about this and like that I lost this argument about what the score was. And I really do think it's this. And I'm just like, because when you do think something, you feel like you've been screwed. Yeah, right. And it's not important. It's a stupid game. Yeah, but like you do in that moment.
But that translates to like important things though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you're just like, this is stupid. Like I feel this way. And then at one point I was just like, you know, obviously like Kyle really caught on to that. He was just like, oh, you gave up and then you got better. I was like, well, yeah. Like at one point I was just like, dude, I don't care. Like I don't win or lose, whatever. Okay. So I just physically it like manifested as me looking like I wasn't trying. I was still trying, but it looked a lot different because I was just like, I don't care if I win or lose. So at that point I stopped like swearing every time something happened, right? Like I was just like calm. I was laughing at stuff. When stuff messed up, I was just like, well, whatever. And dude, I was such a better time in the end. Like by the end of the day, I was just like, dude, this is great. Like, you know, and it's just because I was able to like capture, like take like a third party look at myself, capture what I was doing and just be like, I got to change this. I'm good at like not giving a crap and like stuff like that. You're the best at it. Oh, well, thanks. I know I'm the best. But when it comes to when it comes to like social environments and stuff, different. Hits different. Yeah. I'm just like always thinking about
just probably a little more
what other people
there.
Are thinking. Yeah.
I literally think that more about you in the office than anyone else.
What do you mean?
Just because like I walk in your office like, hey, what's up? And if you don't like give me the typical reaction I'm expecting, I'm like,
what's the typical reaction?
What did I say?
Bubbly.
I guess a little more like, oh, hey, what's up? But sometimes you're just and I know you're just concentrating. Yeah. But it's just like, sometimes I'm just like, she mad at me?
Like, what did I do?
What did I do? Just like, Gabby, I don't want you to be mad at me, but then I don't want to be like, are you mad at me? Because then that just sounds like, you know, desperate. So I'm more so just like always wondering like what other people are thinking or if like anybody thinks like a certain way about like something I did. And like later I can look back on it and be like no one cared. Like no one even probably noticed anything. Or like, especially with like, say me and Rachel, for instance, and like, we don't show any type of PDA, like we don't hold hands or anything. And then you'll see another couple like randomly and they don't give a shit. And then like the people around them
also seem to like not give a shit. And I'm just like, well, why can't I have that mindset to like, one, not give a shit if anyone does, like, you know what I mean? If anyone is
right,
like judging you, it's like, I'm not going to see them tomorrow or the next day, or like, I'm never going to talk to them. So why do I care? But there's still a part of me that cares. Or maybe it's a part of me like, I don't want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But which is also a problem. Like I shouldn't care.
Right.
What's freeing and what's cool about like having, I think, a friend group where you can be so open and honest with people. And that's the difference. It's like when you're around people that like you don't feel like you could be 100% open and honest with, that's how you start feeling. You're just kind of questioning. But like if you're around people who are just like you know, you guys never show any PDA. You just don't like it, or I mean, and that's like that could be uncomfortable coming from some people, but sometimes it's just like I'm just asking the question. And it's fine, and you can communicate, and then you could say like, yeah, we just don't like doing that, and I'd be like, yeah, I agree. Like it seems like, especially you know what, so you could. I just like more and more. I've been trying to like I speak my mind, and I used to do it in a way that was probably offensive to people because I would just without a filter. But now it's just like I know how to deliver the message and still speak my mind a little better. I think that's part of like growing up, maturity. Yeah. But it's just, you know, I feel like once you can just put it all out there and not be in your head about it, and then just to be like I've started to like, if I'm in an uncomfortable situation, I'll just say something about what I'm thinking, and then it'll just diffuse, and like it's like the whole environment processes. And I release that into the environment instead of holding that. And it's just, I don't know.
No, dude, I completely agree. I did like so I've been trying to do like more journaling, but I don't like it. But what I found is I really do like to do like voice recordings after like meditations and stuff like that, because it's just, if I feel like I can just speak my mind and record it, to me, it's the same as writing it down. Like it's just something about vocalizing it or verbalizing or whatever. But like I had that kind of similar realization like the other day, and I was just like, okay, so life is basically a series of like wins and losses, right? And the biggest winners are just the ones that are willing to lose the most often, because everyone that's ever made it and is on the top, it's like they could tell you a million stories of where they didn't win.
Well, yeah. And I was about to say, when you were saying that, it's just like, it's about perspective, because a lot of times losing is winning if you're thinking about it the right way.
Winning feels good, and losing, there's a lesson in losing. So it's like, you never really lose. And it kind of led me to this like next kind of series of thoughts where it's like, life to me is there's a relationship with myself, and then I have relationships with others. And so to put it in more religious terms, like your relationship with you is more of that vertical relationship where it's like you and God, or your higher self, or the divine within, whatever you believe. Yeah. But it's like your journey, right? To grow and become a better version of you. And then there's relationships with others. And I'm kind of on this whole thing. It's why I do cold plunges. It's why I do this stuff, because it's like the principle of hormesis and all that stuff that says like, I can only grow if I put myself through difficult things. So it's like when it comes to myself and like my vertical relationship or my individual relationship with me, it's like, I need to challenge myself and I need to push myself, because by doing that, I know I'll become a better version of me. And by becoming a better version of me, then I can show up better for other people. But when it comes to like horizontal relationships, like once you're an adult and it's like you get to choose who you spend your time with, it's like my in conclusion was like, I need resistance for me, but I need refuge for like my horizontal relationship. So it's like, like I was telling you earlier, like I just started unfollowing a ton of friends on Facebook or not Facebook, but on Instagram specifically, just because it's like, dude, it's not a real relationship. We're not talking. We're not interacting with each other. I'm just watching what you think is important. And it is like, it's not helping me be a better me. It was like, I just had to stop feeling bad for like not wanting to see what you post. And I also don't feel bad if you know that I unfollowed you, because we don't talk enough that it's like, I wouldn't even care. Like, it's like, and so it's like, for me, when I think about who I'm spending my time with in terms of other people, it's like, they need to be my refuge. Now, and that doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but it just means I can actually be me, and I can like express, and I can even express like the ugly parts of me at times. And I can trust that like, you're not going to judge me or like treat me differently. So I think that's the hardest part, is like naturally you go through life and most people adapt this mindset of, if I act right, then I'll be treated right. And if I act wrong, then I'll be treated wrong. So it's like you essentially, you start to play this chess game of, who do I need to be in this environment? Mm-hmm. And that's why for me, it was like, it's not like, because in church, I feel like I hate that we do this, but it's like we always do this thing where it's just like, you're like sitting on the fence. You want to be like of the world or of the church or whatever. And it's just like, dude, I just want to be me. And I'm not acting one way here and one way here because I'm trying to be a bad Christian. I'm acting here because that feels good. That allows me to be me. And I act here this way because I'm scared of being judged or being like ostracized, or I'm worried about like the backlash this could bring to my family, all this stuff. It's like, in all of it, you're just trying to be considerate, but you just realize like sometimes you have more freedom to just be you. And
I think it's, yeah. And that's tough because I think there's a difference between changing who you are in front of certain people and being respectful. So I'm not just going to go at church and just drop F-bombs. You know what I mean?
Well, so then what I would say is just like that, because that's where I got to. It was like, I would never do that either. But then that's where I was just like, I'm just not going to go, because I don't want to be around people that I can't be me around, because then that also, you know, is a catalyst for a whole nother shame cycle.
At the same time, it's like I do, like when I swear, it's like more of just for in jest. It's just like fun to do. And I'm usually around people that do it too. So it's like, if I'm around those people, even if I wasn't at church, if I knew it made people feel uncomfortable, I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like it's more of a respect thing than anything.
100%.
So it's like, if I'm around, you know, people, it doesn't matter. Take another example or something, like something that, you know, would just, people just aren't comfortable with. I mean, I'm not going to, you know, if a guy was an alcoholic for 30 years, he's not drinking, like I go to his house, I'm not asking for wine, you know,
100%.
So it's like, I feel like there's certain things that without changing like who you are, that you can still modify behavior to just try to be respectful of people. Right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I think that's just wisdom. It's knowing, but so then I guess my whole thing.
But you're saying you were basically living a two-faced life is what you were saying.
Well,
that's different.
If me trying to be wise to do the right thing makes me feel worse about me, right, I don't feel the need to continue to put myself in those environments.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And that's why I think I appreciate, you know, all of our relationships, is because like, yeah, if you take the average churchgoer and put them around me, like they'd probably be a little off put and all that stuff. But it's like, I've never been happier about who I am and my journey. And so it's like, in the same sense, like, I don't feel the need to put myself around you because I know what me being on my journey could cause you to feel, and it wouldn't be good for you either. So it's just like, I've divorced myself from this, you know, constructed need to just put myself in certain environments because, you know, we say we love people. And that's why I think I'm so personally thankful for my family. It's like, it's not always been easy, but it's like somehow we all ended up down here in Orlando together. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we chose to use our money and resources to be close to each other, not just through like technology or social media, but like, it's just like, we actually want to be close to each other. And so I think, like, even know the term like blood is thicker than water. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard that one? Right. So we always think of it in the sense of like blood or like family is closer than the outside.
I'll admit,
wrong, bro.
I never really understood that term.
It's not even the real phrase.
I never understood it.
That was a cut up part of the actual saying. The actual saying is the blood of the covenant is stronger or thicker than the water of the womb. It's literally the opposite. It's basically saying whoever you choose to make these covenants with in your
stronger
life
than your family bonds.
Is more important than just, you know, the bonds of who you ended up on this floating rock with.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that they can't be one and the same, but it's like the emphasis is not on just being like, oh, I got to stay true to the family because it's blood is thicker than water. No, it's like, who have I chosen to make covenants with to like actually be my true self and to show up for them?
That's interesting. I never really truly knew what that meant.
Isn't it just funny though how we use those sayings and it's like
because when people
we convince people that it's the opposite of what it actually is.
Well, because when people say blood's thicker than water, like I've wanted to unpack that, I've just never had a chance to. Like when people say that, and I know what they're saying. They're trying to say that family is more important than whatever.
Like families stick together.
But I've always thought like, where does that even? That doesn't even make sense. Like thicker than what's water? Like what? Where's water coming into this?
Yeah.
Like if I get blood, sure, family, but like what's water? Like I don't get that.
Yeah.
So like that didn't even make
Makes more
sense
sense.
ever to me. So that makes
Yeah, because during the birthing process, all that stuff that comes out, it's not like thick like blood.
Yeah.
Your water
Am I
breaks.
part of your covenant?
Hell yeah. You're like A1 day one.
A1.
I've never taken a trip with anyone else in my life. You're the only person I've ever just randomly gone on like a trip with to go like.
He's talking about like a physical trip to Boston. We don't like do that many drugs together.
That many.
I was really trying to hold it together.
We don't do that many.
I was like, we be driven all the ways. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
Mom.
Yeah, that blood thick as barbecue sauce.
Hey.
I don't like Instagram. I mean, going back to the Instagram thing, I'm bringing that back up because it was part of your thing, but I didn't want to interrupt you. I rarely post. I really like, I mean, probably a year and a half ago is probably the last time I put, I mean, because I've come to realize that, and I'm sorry, Christina, because this is what she does for a living, you know, it's the social media stuff. But like, I'm just, and I get it's necessary for business, right? Whatever.
It's marketing.
Yeah. It is marketing. But this is like people market themselves. It is really just marketing. It's really about the business part. People just kind of jump into. So it's like people just share, and everyone knows this, but the best parts of their lives on Instagram.
There can be good parts about it though.
It's the highlight reel.
You're right, but it's so fake because it doesn't represent the wholeness of of who someone is.
Yeah.
And so like you get on there, it's easy, especially for young minds, they don't realize that like, oh man, my life sucks because I'm comparing to everything.
Yeah.
But it's just like the other thing is, I feel like it's just like who can brag the best. It's. I mean, think about every
Who's
post.
going to the coolest places? Who has the coolest?
No one's posting the bad parts.
This.
Yeah.
It's just like you could even say like the most subtle posts or whatever, like someone posting a saying, or, you know, a phrase, like some kind of like thing that they caught on to, right? And they're just posting this. Oh, this hit me hard today. They're still bragging that they were able to recognize that and get something out of it and that they're improving their life. Like, so it's still bragging.
Yeah.
You post a picture of your family, seems wholesome. You're just bragging. Like, look at my family. We're so put together. It's just like,
can I do a devil's avocados?
I was about to say, I think there's two sides to it though, but you'll probably explain it better.
Because I know we've talked about this before, like the whole concept of like trying to make a viral video and you're just going out and giving like homeless people money or doing that stuff. And it's like, if you really care about these people, just go give them money and don't record it.
Yeah.
But then I had this moment where I really like when I was sitting with it, and this is just my personal opinion about it. It's just like, the sad thing is it's like, if we never posted about like uplifting positive things, then now our news feeds are going to be inundated with self-absorbed, low vibration BS that's just all about me. And it's like, it's not up to me to decide the intention of why someone decided to do what they do. But I just watched one the other day of this buddy. It's like something epic things. I don't know. It had a ton of views, and he was actually in Tampa, and he just went to the hood and just paid like a ton of people's rent. And it's like, okay, so I could choose to say that like this dude is just selfish and he just wants publicity and but it's like, or I could look at like
inspiring
all
kindness.
of the people, and it's like I'm watching this video and I'm like, tears are coming out because I'm just like, dude, I want to be able to do this stuff. And then you start to think, it's like, okay, so now social media to me is nothing more than another I feel like it's almost what I was saying earlier. It's like the relationship with yourself where it's like, and that's why I started unfollowing people. It's like, I can curate all the content. And if I curate a news feed of people that are going out and pushing generosity and selflessness and kindness, then it like that inspires me to want to be a better person, to want to like emulate something like that versus like all of us that just follow, not us, like the three of us, but look at who has the most followers, all the frickin' Instagram butt models, right? It's just like all these people that have, you can just start posting a picture of your butt, do it often enough. Within a year or two, you'll have 10,000 followers. Like it's just, there's enough people that just want that quick fix, you know, instant gratification. I like what I'm seeing, but it's like, to me, social media is just, if I want to have a good experience with it, it's like my responsibility to curate a news feed where I'm listening to like yogis and spiritual masters and pastors and just all of these people who are doing their best to quiet the self-absorbed, self-interested voice and really contribute to the greater good of a society. And like when I watch it, like, because that's why I got off Instagram for like months, because it just wasn't good for me, and I knew I needed to take a break. But like once I like got it back and I actually started unfollowing people and only looking at stuff that I knew was going to inspire me to want to be a better version of me, then like it felt like it just switched. Like all of a sudden I was like, I hate this. And then all of a sudden it was like, I love this. Like I only follow, I mean, not a lot of people, but it's like the content always comes through. Like Jay Shetty, one of the best follows, because it's just like every day it's just this like beautiful like post of like, it's like one of those ones where a guy that's colorblind puts on the glasses and he sees color for the first time and he just starts weeping. It's just like you expose yourself to like the better like emotions and the better vibrations of life. And like, to me, it's another one of those vertical relationships where if I want to use this, and I would never judge anyone one way or the other, but if like I want to use this, then like it's my responsibility to use this in a way that it's going to make me a better version of me. Not because I want to boast and brag and be my best, but it's because I just believe that somehow life is better when I'm a better me, because I can be a better me for the people around me.
I think so I will say that there are a few people that, and you know, despite intentions, there are people that propagate positive content, and that's fine. What's one of the things I like about Reddit is that you can literally curate what exactly you want, right? My posture toward Instagram was really focused on how the average person uses it to interact with other people.
Sure.
And I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Right. So the average person isn't the one going out and giving money away or doing whatever, right? The average person is just like using it to document their life so other people can see it. That was my...
Right. No, I completely agree.
So,
well, here's the other crazy part though. It's like, there's still a very real reality where someone could make a video that's going out and giving people a ton of money or whatever, and they very likely could be doing it for the wrong reasons. But then also enough people watch it and it inspires them to want to go out and help other people. So it's like, even though it started with like the root intention was negative, like the actual result was like this big net positive. Like it's still entirely possible that regardless of why you did what you did, a bunch of people went out and just were nice to other people. And to me, that's just like, I'm okay with that. Yeah. And I just think,
yeah. And I think there's a lot of people, it just depends on who you are. I think there's a lot of people that need that. I think there's a lot of people that buy into the idea that the world is mostly bad. And I think that a lot of that is beneficial for those type of people, right? I mean, I understand that most people in the world are good. That's my belief, right? So when I see like, I think when it gets to the down and dirty, most people I think would help someone, right? Like, you know, you take away,
not in America, but in the world, yes.
Take away everyone's material possessions, right? If we all lived on an equal playing field, we'd help each other. We'd have to.
Well, that's why I think you see like these tribes in Africa and like these people who come from third world countries, like they're so much happier than us. And it's just,
well, there's definitely a different sense
of materialism and capitalism. It breeds this like,
when you go to Europe, there's
scarcity
definitely
mentality.
a different sense.
It's like
there's definitely a different sense when you go to Europe. I mean, I will say specifically just a very like help each other kind of culture. A lot of
That's dope.
Asian cultures are like that too.
For sure.
So I've definitely experienced that, and I'm envious of that, which is why I've talked about like living in another country, because I'm just like, dude, what we've created. I'm sitting there like getting my haircut, watching freaking Jersey Shore, and I'm just like, this is what our country likes. Like, this is literally what everyone watches, and I'm like, well, I mean, whatever. Like, we all watch stupid stuff to entertain us, but it's just like a lot of people like would look at this and be like, that's what I want to do, or it's what I want to. And I'm like, I mean,
dude, they did a study with young kids, and I think they said like the number one profession, like dream profession, was like be a YouTuber for like young kids. And you're like, look, dude, I get it. If I could just have someone follow me around with a camera all day, every day, and make a ton of money, like who wouldn't want to do that? But the reality is very few people will make it that way. But it's nonetheless. And I think part of it too is like, because like America is just like viewed, at least within like from the Americans' perspective, like we've always been told like America's the best. We're number one. There's no better country on earth.
a lot of countries are told
So
that.
but like,
I mean, it's
like America's like daddy, the world police. Like we made the America like world police video type stuff. It's just like, we just view ourselves as the best. And when you grow up thinking that, it's like to me, it almost
and it makes other people in other countries.
Well, every time
it makes them nauseous. They're just like, this is ridiculous. It's not true. We have freedom. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, and so it upsets them. And then even for us, it creates this weird scarcity mentality where it's like, now we have to like make sure we stay the best. So we have to just like, we glorify people that do 80-hour work weeks because, they're trying to keep us the best versus like, well, so what are you giving up to do that?
Yeah.
And is it really worth it over time?
Yeah. I'm not tied to that anymore. I don't even care. I'm just like, I mean, obviously like making money's nice. Like I like that, but it's just like, I won't work 80 hours again the rest of my life. Like there was a time I worked a lot, but,
I mean, to me, it's like, you got to be so passionate about what you do to put that much time into it.
If you're passionate and you're like, and you don't have a family or whatever, right? And like, hey, just do what fulfills you. Even if like, because like, people say that if you enjoy what you do, you're not working, but, it is work. Like it's a stress on you.
Well, and they did this study and they asked a bunch of people like on their deathbeds, like regrets and all this stuff. And, the biggest regret that they found that most people said was they wish they would have lived their lives for themselves and not to impress other people or to, just be who they felt like they were supposed to be.
I feel like that's the first 30 years of my life. I felt like I was probably doing that.
Most of my life I was.
And then the last, however many years, I feel like I'm really transitioning to that other. Well, to where it's like, I think it's real important to just focus on.
Well, I think like the hard part for me with that, because I feel like it's like liberation for me, but the hardest part for me is like, I would never want the people who raised me to feel like they didn't do it right because I might be maybe looking at it a little different. Like to me, it's not that. That's why like when I think about when I have kids, it's like, bro, end of the day, I don't care what you believe. I just want you to be comfortable being you. Because like, if you're not actually like comfortable being you around me, then I don't know you. I know the you in a mask that's trying to be what I think you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I feel like I've almost completely let that go with my family. I mean, my brother and sister don't care, but like my mom, she'd probably be the only one that I'd think about like, okay, what is she? But I really don't even care. I know that she still like sends me articles and does all, just tries to give me pieces of advice and wisdom and stuff. And, I know that I don't know. I'm not like, I'm not bragging about it, but like I'm the smartest one in my family. Like, and I don't think there's really any argument to that. And so I don't know. I'm not trying to brag.
Clip Flip it.
And I'm not saying like people don't like my mom and my brother. Like, I mean, you know, they've got like
That was so perfect.
my sister, like they've all got like, you know, different things that like, I mean, obviously
He
like,
tried to be so gentle with that statement.
yeah, didn't really slide off the tongue real gently, but just kind of dove in.
It's like solely on the river, bro. Sometimes you got to do a crap.
I don't know, man. I mean, but you know, like,
No, I totally know what you mean. I know.
but like, I mean, would you not say Nate's the smartest one in your family?
He's certainly the most successful one in the family. Yeah. So then
I feel
within
like
that,
everyone's
I could
smart
say
in different ways, though. Like, look at Christian. Like
there's emotional intelligence.
There's wisdom. There's like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I get
it's
like
nuanced.
Like he just
generally
killed it in
speaking.
school. Justin like can retain basically any information he freaking hears. Nate is just probably just like all around smart.
He's
I feel like
well,
everyone's
he's
just specifically smart. Yeah, he's
Nate's
super
very driven.
I don't know. I think it's just because he's one of the, and I'm not like smart's such a general term. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, I can intelligently look at things from a different perspective that most people in my family would not see. Okay.
Well, you would consider the other side. You don't just blindly believe something because
Yeah.
this is
and-
what other people told me to believe.
Right. And like when the family chat comes up with problems, I'm usually the one bringing a solution. Right. Like,
So use our noggins.
I'm
and
not
be
saying, like-
rash. Yeah.
smart is a very generic and it can kind of be hurtful term. Like when you describe yourself that way, as opposed to other people. I get that. Just
JJ the
saying.
Wise.
I'm not, whatever. All I'm saying, I don't even fucking know what I was trying to say.
How bad do you regret saying?
Might cut it
It's
out.
a good thing you're the editor. Yeah.
So
He's not gonna edit it.
yeah, I won't.
So what's the end? What's the end of all that?
What were we talking about before? Well, you guys derailed me.
I can't even remember.
Jeez.
I think that's a good way to end it. Just saying.
I
I'm
think it's
just,
beautiful.
I'm just smart.
I'm the smartest of the family.
Jeez. Gosh dang. Where was I going? Because I had intention behind that, and I was not trying to like dwell on that. I was just going to move on. And then
we
you guys
did
started
it.
laughing.
I'm so sorry.
Were we still on the social media stuff?
No, we were talking about family and what they think and trying to please people. And, you know, I guess,
Oh, and there's certain people that you would just be respectful around.
yes.
Yeah, I don't got it. I don't know.
What I guess,
I'm cool with sticking on the statement.
what I'm saying is like, but the thing is like, I feel like I've been told this by my mom, my brother, and my sister at different times. Like, it's not like I'm not self-proclaiming anything. You know what I mean?
There's facts.
Not
There's-
facts.
there's-
There's no judgment.
There's data.
I literally just look
I know
up the
you're
definition
smart, man.
of truth, and it's just like, okay,
You are a very
it's
smart guy.
The consensus.
That's why I like bringing up the flat Earth stuff to you because I know it just makes your brain go crazy.
we can't start this.
My gears
Let's wrap
explode.
it up.
Yeah. So no,
The
I guess what
firmament's
I was
above
saying
the earth.
is it like
I'm hungry.
what? Okay, I think it was about this. So when it comes to like not annoying my mom or like trying to live my life in a way that I think that she'll be proud that she did a good job raising me or something, it's just like she's acknowledged, and she always sends me stuff, right?
Mhm.
But she's already acknowledged that like I'm kind of autonomous and like I have my own intelligence and wisdom, right? So the fact that she's done that means that she's trusted me in a way already to live my own path,
Mhm.
right? Which is freeing, right? Like in understanding that,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And so there's things hopefully that like your mom has, you know, given you confidence in saying that like, yeah, you do like research, you do this stuff, like you retain this information. You're very like thoughtful in the way you process things. And so that should give you the confidence in being like, all right, well, at some point it's like you leave the nest and it's not all about like,
No.
you know, what they think or what they believe. And
Right.
like, it's not going to align. And I mean, that's going to happen with my kids, and that'll probably sting a little bit, right? When they start like bringing me, you know, they're not going to completely align with me their whole lives. Right. And I don't want them to, right.
I agree. Yeah.
And I want them to kind of discover their own thing. Right. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't trying to sound arrogant when I said that. So,
No, you're good, bro. No, but I agree. I think that's the most beautiful thing in my mind about like one day becoming a parent. It's because it's like my mom used to tell me all the time, like, I want my ceiling to be your floor.
mm-hmm.
And so it's like she was able to do all this with her life and get to this point, and then it's just like my dream or my goal is like, now you take it and you go to the next level.
Right. And
I think we don't talk enough about the whole concept of like generational curses, which is like, I'm not talking about like witchcraft or like spells and stuff. I'm talking about just toxic thinking and toxic behaviors that often, if you're a toxic parent, it's very common that your child is going to be 2.0 of you toxic.
Well, many times the parent doesn't even know they're toxic. It's
right.
Yeah, they don't even realize it.
And so, yeah, absolutely. It begins with the awareness, but it's like, that's, I think for me is so beautiful is that it's just like, I have the opportunity to take in all this information and listen to all the data, all the sides, all the experts. And then I trust the voice within me to guide me to the right place and the right decision. And it's like, when I have kids, it's like, that makes me excited to show up and do my best to parent in a way that gives them the freedom to question. Cause I even saw something where someone was talking about how like it's this thing where people just want these like super like obedient, quiet, soft, submissive children. It's like, I don't want that. That's like,
we talked about
that's
this.
not a sign of intelligence. A sign of intelligence is like, question my rules, question like why. And it's like, don't just do it because I said. And like in the moment, it feels good when they just do what you say because it makes your life easier. But it's like for the evolution of the child, it's like, yeah, question everything.
Yeah.
Ask why we do what we do.
If that theory is
Wrestle
true,
with
then
it.
all three of my kids are going to be scientists.
Boom. Or at least incredibly emotionally
they
intelligent
question
people.
everything.
But I think that's a good thing. And I think that is the struggle of, and it's weird because I'm obviously not a parent, but it's like when I think about it, it's like that probably will be my biggest struggle in parenthood is I got to wrestle with them wanting to be their own versions of them and me just being okay with the messiness of the journey.
Yep. All right,
I got some news to end this podcast.
Gabby's enemy.
Because it's ending.
End it.
I'm walking away at least.
No, I literally was like, Gabby gives me the look. She's walking away in a second.
Yes, my lord.
So it's like, let's.
So news to end the podcast. I've already finished.
Well done.
Ryan Seacrest is the new host of Wheel of Fortune. Cheers again.
I did hear Buddy
Wow.
left.
All right.
That's breaking news.
Which is awesome because the current host is a dick.
Wow.
But
So
is Vanna
there
White
we
sticking?
end it.
Yeah, she's sticking.
And we also ended
I'm
with
here
the thought
for
with Justin having kids. So whenever that happens,
Yeah, I'm about
that'd
to
be
make
fun.
some babies.
Oh
You
shoot!
said that? I zoned out. You said that you were making babies?
No, I just said now I'm about to be making some babies.
All right, it's official, everyone. See you.
Starting
Bye.
today?
Bye. Bye.
Well, we haven't put a date on it.
See ya.